I try my hardest to give you guys the unfiltered truth about who the Jets are, what direction they're going in, their strengths, their weaknesses, so on and so forth. And I have to talk about these two practices with the Giants because they didn't play well, especially the offensive line. The Giants' defensive line is legit. It is the strength of their defense. It's the strength of their team, I think, in totality. But the Jets' offensive line did not play well. They didn't give Justin Fields enough time to throw. They didn't have enough running lanes for Braylon and Brees. The Giants' defensive line even played better on day 2, meaning they learned, from my perspective, meaning they learned the quirks of guys like Tippmann and Fashanu, AVT, and so on and so forth, and they were able to use those against them in day 2. That's why I don't like these practices that go back to back like that, these scrimmages, because it's not really a game time situation. Okay. It doesn't mean that just because the Jets played poorly or scrimmaged poorly in these two practices, it doesn't mean that they will play badly or they will lose a regular season game against the Giants if that were to happen. And I'll get into why in a little bit. But Fields definitely takes a step back. He was late on a bunch of throws. He was missing throws, had some nice runs, but I think that's because he was probably looking down at the offensive line and making sure he had protection. The Jets' offensive line played really well in that first week, in that week 1 preseason game against the Packers. But the Giants' defensive line is way better than what the Packers were putting up. So a little concerning there. A little concerning. On the other side of the ball, the Jets' offense was kind of beating a sauceless Jets defense. I'm really starting to get concerned, especially with the safeties. I saw multiple updates on social media saying that Russell Wilson was throwing touchdown passes, and these guys are beating Andre Sisco and Tony Adams. And there's crickets from Malachi Moore. I haven't seen anything about Malachi Moore. So I think it's pretty clear that the safeties on our side of the ball are going to be the weakest link of not only the defense, but possibly the entire team. We're going to need some big time play from Brandon Stevens and some big time play from Sauce Gardner to really tamp down our opponent's passing game. The safeties are going to be an issue, and it's something that I don't think they can address at this point. I think it's set. It's still very early, and practice is practice. You're trying out new things, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, so I'm not raising any alarm bells, but when you scrimmage the same team twice in back-to-back days, you end up, like I said before, especially on the second day, where players figure out the quirks of their opponents, and it's not a real game time experience. The Jets, and the Giants for that matter, did not go through tape across, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice cycle and scheme against their opponent. The Jets are not running plays designed to beat the Giants defense. On the flip side, the Giants are doing the same thing. Especially with the Jets, you're installing a new offense. So you're still learning different concepts. You're opening up different parts of the playbook. You're not building a game plan against your opponent. And that's why I think that if these two teams were to play in a regular season game, it's not going to look like these scrimmages. It's not even going to look like the preseason game coming up on Saturday. It's going to be very different. It's going to be a low-scoring game. And I do think the Jets in totality are a better team than the Giants. I think we would still eke out a win there if they were to play, which they're not playing this season. But that's why these scrimmages are not real game time experiences. The coaches are not looking at the offense as a total here. They're looking at one-on-one matchups, one-on-one or individual performances by certain guys on the offense and the defense. And if we're talking about individual performances, Aren Smith is solidifying himself as wide receiver 2 on the Jets. Everyone thought he had a dropping issue coming out of Georgia. I made a video about this a few days ago, maybe last week it was. But I'm starting to think that those issues were exaggerated because he is making some circus catches. And it's not just one here or there. It's almost every practice where you either hear about him making a big time catch, you see the video on social media. The Jets social media team is fantastic. And it's throughout camp. He's a young guy. He's doing the things he needs to do to get his hands better. He knows he has a dropping issue. I don't know how, like I said, maybe it was exaggerated, but it was certainly an issue there. I have to kind of look back maybe at the Georgia tape and see how bad these drops really were. He's doing the things with the strobe goggles. He's on the jugs machine before and after practice every day. He's doing this drill where he throws the ball up in the air and he's got to read the letters on it while it's in the air. He's got to focus on the ball and he's got to catch the ball first and then worry about what he's going to do afterwards. His issues were he was getting ahead of himself. He was trying to think of what his first move would be, and he would end up dropping the ball. At least that's what he says. That's out of his mouth. That's not, that's not my opinion. That's what he says about his own play. But for a young guy to be attacking the ball at the high point on a lot of these throws is great. With Alan Lazard being kind of beat up now and Josh Reynolds not really doing much of anything, I could very easily see Aren Smith, not at the beginning of the season, but maybe by week 4, 5, 6, he ends up our wide receiver too. I could absolutely see that happening. And I don't think it's crazy. I really don't. He's a young player. He is someone who I think fell in the draft because of his dropping issues or his apparent dropping issues, because we're not seeing that in camp. We're not. I have not looked. I'm looking back through the tweets. I'm looking back through social media, and I don't see any dropping issues. I don't see any tweets about him, running wrong routes. He could be our wide receiver too. He could be that second guy behind Garrett Wilson, who guys need to worry about. He has the speed. He has the speed to be put on the outside, and if you don't have safety help over him, he's just going to go, and Justin Fields going to throw him a goal ball. He could be the complement that Garrett Wilson needs to not only bump up his numbers, but get the offense moving in totality. So, not a great practice with the Giants. Aren Smith is solidifying himself as wide receiver too. But again, this practice was not a game time experience. Don't get too crazy, Jet fans. Don't get out of your minds thinking that this is the end of the world. It's not. It's really not. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you thought about these two practices. Let me know. Did I miss anything? Was there anything that you think I should have covered? But so far, so good. Training camp is going well for the most part. Everyone, knock on wood, is staying healthy, and that's what you want to see. It's still practice. We're still installing an offense, and there's not much yet to be concerned about.